Do endless rows and columns in Microsoft Excel leave you feeling overwhelmed? You are not alone. Many people struggle with where to even begin. But the good news is, learning Excel is easier than you think. In this video, we will break down the basics in a simple, step-by-step way so you can go from confused to confident in no time. Whether you are a complete beginner or you just need a refresher, these essential Excel skills will help you to work faster, smarter, and more efficiently. So grab your notebook or just sit back and relax, and let us master Excel together. By the end of this video, you will be ready to tackle spreadsheets like a pro. My name is Pat from PrimeVox Academy. Let's get started. The very first thing we are going to learn is launching Microsoft Excel. So if we want to start Microsoft Excel, we use the computer term launching. So I will go to Start button and then click on Microsoft Excel. Remember, we are using Excel 2021. I'm going to click on the Maximize button. Then, immediately, Microsoft Excel will present us with this particular interface. It is asking me to begin with a blank workbook or billing statements, blood pressure tracker, expense reports, loan amortization, and a whole lot. All these things are templates you can use to create worksheets. What will happen here is that we are going to start with blank workbook. So I will click here. So we now have blank workbook, and this may be confusing, especially if you are starting new with Microsoft Excel, but do not worry. So we are going to take them one after another. The next lesson we are going to learn now is understanding the interface of Microsoft Excel. So looking at Microsoft Excel, you will see that it has grid lines. You can see the grid lines here, but do not worry, I am coming to that. Then, the first thing we need to learn is menu bar. Of course, if you are taking our Microsoft Word course, you should be familiar with this menu bar. After menu bar, we now have what we'll call standard toolbar, where all the commonly used operations are displayed in the form of icons. So, I believe you know some of them: copy, cut, and paste, bold, italic, underline, alignment, and all of that. Please go back and take our Microsoft Word tutorial so that you will learn how to use some of these ones if you don't already know them. Then after the standard bar, the next thing we are supposed to know in this lesson is formula bar. Here is what we'll call formula bar. You can see immediately I point my mouse pointer here, it will display the name using the tooltip. Okay, so this formula bar is what gives Excel its power. You can apply it in different industries. So here you enter your formula. The next thing we need to learn is column and rows. So this vertical alignment in Excel is what we'll call column. If you look at it, you see that the column is labeled with alphabets where we have A, B, C, D, and so on. Okay, the next one is row. So the row is in horizontal alignment. You can see it. And we will also see that the row is numbered using Arabic figures. You can see it 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, while the column is in vertical alignment, the row is in horizontal alignment. Now, in between columns and rows is what we'll call cells. So these small rectangles here, we'll call them cells. We can also see what we'll call cell pointer, this bars that moves wherever I click. That is what we'll call cell pointer. Later, we are going to learn how to use them. Okay. The next thing you are supposed to learn is worksheet tab. If you come down here, you will notice that we'll have a tab here called Sheet 1. Later in this lecture, you are going to learn how to add more sheets. Is that okay? The next lesson we are going to learn in this first session is data entry and organization. Typing in Microsoft Excel is basically the same thing with Microsoft Word or any other application software. You only need to indicate where you want to type by clicking there, then you press with your keyboard. For example, while my cell pointer is here in the first cell, I can now start typing. Maybe I will type serial number. It is as simple as that. So what we are now doing is text entry. After entering your text, we also have number entry. If you want to enter numbers, you just place your cell pointer where you want it to appear, then you start entering. I am using the arrow keys to navigate from one cell to another. Okay? If you look at this worksheet, you will notice that it has equal columns. Take for instance, if I type something like television, you see that it did not contain in that particular column. So all you will need to do is to shift. You shift the column so that it will be able to contain. So I will bring my mouse pointer here. Remember, if you are using Microsoft Word, all you need to do is to place your mouse pointer wherever in that particular column. But for Excel, you need to come up here, then click and drag. Remember that if you double click, it will give you the size automatically. That is the auto fit. So I will pause this and populate the table. If you don't want to struggle typing this number, there is a way to generate this number automatically. Once you type the first one, let me delete it so that you see what I'm doing. Once you type the first one, you click from this small dot and drag. When you get to the last one, you release it. Then from this option, you click Fill Series. Remember, you can also achieve the same thing by holding down the Control key and drag. The next lesson we need to learn today is inserting column or row. Assuming I made a mistake here, maybe there is a column that's supposed to come before quantity. Instead of deleting what I have typed and start all over, all I will need to do is to come to that place where I want the column to appear, then click on the right button. That is by right clicking. From there, you will now click on Insert. It will automatically insert a fresh column there for you. So you can now name the column whatever you want. And if it is row that you want to insert, you do the same thing. For here, remember this is the number I entered, whereas this is the Excel number. So I will come here and right click and then choose Insert. It will create a fresh row for me. Another related operation you are supposed to know is deleting row or column. For example, this row that I just created, if I don't need it again, I will just have to right click here. Remember, you have to right click at this number, then choose Delete. So it will immediately delete that particular column. If it is this one that I want to delete, come to that place, right click and then click on Delete. And that column will be deleted. The next thing we are going to learn before we round up this session is mathematical operators. In Microsoft Excel, we use mathematical operators to perform our operations. For me to do this, I am going to create new sheets. Remember, I said I will teach you how to create new sheets. What you will need to do now is to come down to this place where we have sheet 1, then click on this plus button. It will open a separate new sheet for us, and it is named sheet 2. You can go back to sheet 1 at any time. Okay, now let's stay in sheet 2 and then look at some of the mathematical operators that we need in Microsoft Excel. Now, with these operators, for you to do any mathematical operation in Microsoft Excel, you use these operators. The first one is addition. Of course, you know the operator for addition, which is plus sign. You can access it by holding down the shift key and press the equal key. Okay, that will give you plus. And if you are not on laptop, if you are using full keyboard, you will see the plus button from the right side of the keyboard under the numeric key section. For subtraction, we use minus symbol. Then for multiplication, this is not calculator, so you are not going to use X as your multiplication sign. For this, you are going to use asterisk. You will access it from 8 when you hold down the shift key. Then for division, we use forward slash. Please note that we have backward slash and forward slash. Both of them will perform differently. So where we have question mark, under it is forward slash. Just press it and it will give you forward slash. Okay, so these are mathematical operators that we use in Microsoft Excel. And that brings us to the end of this session. Please subscribe in order to support me. Also share the video with your loved ones. Remember to like the video so that YouTube will recommend it to many others. You will find the link to the next lesson in the description box below. Until next time, keep learning.